What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special last minute edition of the Rock Fantasy Files. I am your host, James, clerk at Disc and Dat Record Store in Bethel, Connecticut, and bass player for Crucial Pain. I've got Tony Dio with me from North Carolina. I've got Count Theron with me, who just got back from his trip to Japan looking for Asian singles. Um,
Long story with that, folks.
Long story, inside joke. We don't need
That's
to go
what she
into it.
said. No.
That's right. Oh no, she said wrong story.
Wrong
Um,
story. That's
so
right.
we are going to rank our top 5 albums from AC/DC. This was Tony Dio's idea. So we're going to start with Tony Dio. We're going to do 2 laps around and we'll go 5, 4,
So
3, and then we'll
five,
do
four,
2,
three.
1. How about that?
Okay.
So, Mr. Tony Dio, kick us off. What do you got for 5, 4, and 3?
5, 4, and 3. Okay. Yeah, this is really tough. We were just discussing before we started taping how tough this is because I like both eras of the band quite a bit. And I mean, like the first 8 records or so, just I love them. They're all good.
Yeah.
Um, but for my number 5, I'm going to go with what was the debut album here in the U.S., High Voltage. And this is it's a great record. It's got so many good songs on it. You know, in the in Europe and Australia, I guess mainly, that was High Voltage had this cover art.
Yes.
But most of the songs on here, there's only a couple of songs that actually made it. I can't remember, is it any album? No, this was actually the album TNT was actually what we got as High Voltage over here. And most of the songs that were on the Australian High Voltage and we got as 74 Jailbreak, a lot of those. But yeah, the US version is what it's what I've been listening to for years and years when I first got this. Classic shot of Angus Young. I remember there was an episode of The Cosby Show where Bill goes in Theo's room and pulls this album out, and they're calling him something. They call him something else. I can't remember what. It just looked, but that was the album they were holding up like, yeah, this is so and so or whatever. It's just kind of funny. And I always love the back album cover that shows the notes, the letters that were written
Yeah.
to the band members from the club owners and the school district and the parents. Kind of neat. But yeah, this is I mean, it's just classic stuff on it. You got Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll, which is just a classic AC/DC song. You got Rock and Roll Singer. Can I Sit Next to You Girls on here? The Jack. One of my favorite tracks, Live Wire. Just a great opening track when they open with that song. Um, TNT's on here, just a fist pumping song. You got She's Got Balls and Little Lover, and the title track, High Voltage. And this is here's the UK pressing. It has a disco looking cover on it. Looks like it looks like a disco album or either like something you see on a jukebox.
Yeah, that's
Same back,
terrible.
same back cover, but yeah. But
That's
yeah,
like that
pretty
Rush Live album. What was that? Show of Hands?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Kind of looks like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's a long
Okay.
yeah.
way to
I love
stop.
those, Tony. That and like the original High Voltage. Are they like I know like they're rare in America, but are they hard like to get right now? Like, are they really
They're
expensive?
hard to get now, because everything's vinyl is skyrocketed. It's really
Yeah,
they're very, very expensive. And then there's bootleg versions of them out as well. And shoot, even those are $25, $30 a piece if you find them. But yeah, they're but I remember back in the day just seeing them in the bins at the record stores, and this is like during the 80s when I would flip through the AC/DC records, you'd see them. And originally, the first time I ever had the high voltage on the Australian version was on cassette that I bought in a store back in probably the early 90s or something. So yeah, I mean they're kind of pricey to find now. Um, the
I never seen them back in the day. I would never come across them back in the day. Like I knew they existed and I would see them in magazines and stuff like that, but I just did, and I didn't know any of my friends that had them. Everybody had the regular one, you know. It was
yeah.
very, I didn't know how rare it was. I figured in Australia there was millions of them, but I
Yeah,
didn't
I
know if
actually
they
have a
were like,
friend. I have a friend that lives over there in Australia, and I actually told him once, I said, "Hey, see if you can find me some of those AC/DC records." He said, "Yeah, they're expensive over here as well if you find them."
Wow.
But it's weird because they were on Albert Records, their Albert Records label, which was,
Yeah.
I guess, instead of Atlantic or Atco, which they were here. And so a lot of the stuff that came later, you can get stuff like with the same version that we have here, but it's on the Albert label. It'd be cool to collect some of those if I could get them. So number 4 in line here, I'm going to go Back in Black because I love this record and it's great. I can't say there's any bad tracks on this. You got the title track, which is classic. Hell's Bells is definitely a classic. What an album opener with that one.
Oh
I
yeah.
love the song Shoot to Thrill. It's
Yes.
one of those songs I never get sick of. Giving the dog a bone's cool. What do you do for money, honey's great. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution, which I have a 12-inch single here for that. Um,
Nice.
love that track. Hell's Bells is the B-side on that. Um, but Let Me Put My Love Into You is it's like AC/DC's love song, but it's great. You Shook Me All Night Long is a great song, but I can go the rest of my life and never hear it again. That is one
Same.
track that I'm just burnt completely out on.
Yep.
Funny story. A friend who is a DJ told me a story once about he was DJing at a party a couple of years ago, and it was mostly just young people out, and they probably don't listen to AC/DC, but they know the hit songs. I'm sure they know Thunderstruck and You Shook Me All Night Long. He put a pad out, says anything you want, make a request, write it down on the pad. And some girl came up and wrote down, "Do you have that song by AC/DC?" At least she knew it was AC/DC. But she said, "Do you have that song by AC/DC? She was a fax machine." But yeah, Shake a Leg, Have a Drink on Me. I mean, Have a Drink on Me, that's the tribute to Bond there, just like Hell's
Yeah.
Bells is in Back in Black. But yeah, just great album. Great album.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
from there, let's
That's
see.
Diamond too, isn't it? Like multiple times Diamond.
Yeah, it's no telling, man.
Back in
Next,
Black is in the top 5 all-time selling albums in the Guinness
Yes.
Book of World Records. It's in the top
Yeah.
5.
I
yeah,
think it's like 3 or 4 times Diamond.
It goes back and forth. Yeah, it goes back and forth in top 5 too. It like
Yeah.
one other band. They're really close, I guess, with other bands.
Yeah. It's like
yeah,
that Thriller and the Eagles' greatest hits, like always flip
And
flop.
Dark Side of the Moon is up there.
Yeah.
The Eagles' greatest hits. I think is the number one.
that's why AC/DC can still play stadiums. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different
Right.
story. I'm not forking out money to go see the shell of AC/DC, but that's a whole different story. But uh, but yeah, next up, number 3 in line here. I'm gonna go with For Those About to Rock, and I love this record. This is one of the first things I ever got by AC/DC. Um, you know, kind of just discovering. It was a guy in school that just loved AC/DC, and he talked about them all the time. And I remember this was the new record coming out at that time, and I just remember several people I knew had it. And at the time, I wasn't into AC/DC when this came out. I was more into Devo and New Wave at that period, believe it or not, and still into Kiss, and just starting to kind of venture out and getting into more stuff, just discovering stuff like Van Halen and stuff. But yeah, great record here. The title track is a classic. You know, I mean, they end the shows with them with the fire and cannons. Evil Walks, what a wicked song. I love how these songs, they always put their songs on the album and they're not in the right correct order as they are in the playing order. But so I'm just reading them off here the way they're on the album. But Evil Walks, just such a kick-ass song. And to COD, God, I love that one. Spellbound's pretty cool. Put the Finger on You's great. Let's Get It Up's great. Inject the Venom. I love that. No Mercy for the Bad if they want it. Breaking the Rules is okay song. Snowballed. Night of the Long Lives. I like that one. But yeah, I like this record a lot. This is my Spanish version of it, which the colors are reversed.
Oh, cool.
And it's still a gatefold.
That
So
looks better. That looks way better.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but I always thought the copper looked cool.
But it is unique. I guess nothing else looks like it. It definitely stands
such a great gatefold cover live. I had a poster of that on my wall years ago, and I've got a couple of 12-inch singles here. Here's one for those about to rock. The song. It's a 12-inch single with it's got a live version of Let That Be Rock with Brian, and here is this is Let's Get It Up with Back in Black and TNT recorded side.
Nice.
Yeah, Back in Black and TNT recorded live with Brian singing those. Of course, 1980. And here's a 7-inch single that was released in the US for Let's Get It Up and Snowballed. You know, how
red too.
How Let's Get It Up has not been used in a Viagra commercial yet. I don't know. That beats me.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I never even thought about that. They're missing a fucking great.
They're missing out
right there.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yep. So that's the first three.
So you mentioned the songs not being in the right order on the back of the record. I've noticed that with Rock and Roll Over from Kiss too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you flip the record over to songs, what was up with that? Like, was that like an old school 70s thing that they just did, or
who knows? I don't know. You know,
so odd.
It's a good question.
Odd. Did they put all the names in a hat and draw them out one time? Oh, this is next.
Right? Yeah. So
I think it's like more like they. I think it would be like they just give the people that are going to manufacture the album the song titles before it's actually like
True.
in
That's a good point.
You know, they're trying to get it
the design
printed out
ahead of crew. Well, you got to think too.
They knew
I mean, not in exactly AC/DC's case, but I mean, most bands were putting an album out once a year. Some putting 2 out a year. So who knows that they could have had the design company working on the layout long before the final sequence was decided on, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, before they decided how the track listing was going to go, the album covers were already printed. That's a good point. Huh. If you guys got any knowledge on that, leave us a comment down there below. So I guess I'm going to go next because Count Ralphus wants to be last. So my number 5 is going to be the album that Tony Dio just talked about. For those about to rock, great album, man. I echo everything Tony Dio said. There's not a bad moment on this. I love COD. Is just a fantastic song. That's one of those tunes that, like, when it comes up on the album, I rewind it, and then I probably play it a third time, and then I probably play it a fourth time. And then my girlfriend goes, "Would you just let the rest of the record fucking play, please?"
Hey, James, while it's on my mind, I meant to mention it when I was talking about that album. I actually, I did an episode with John Gaffney recently when Dude's Talking Metal, where we talked about sequencing on albums and where we would flip songs. And I had on this particular album, I said I would actually open the album with Evil Walks, because it's kind of in the vein of Hell's Bells, the way that opens Back in Black, and basically just have it go right into Put the Finger on You from there. Right. And I would end the album with For Those About to Rock, because they always end the show with that song.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's
For
definitely
those
an
about to
ender
rock,
of it now.
yeah, for those about to rock does feel like an ender more than an opener. I agree.
Mhm.
But yeah,
That's a tough
not a
topic. Is that something that you guys you picked that album to talk about, or is it you had to come up with your own album
No,
to
we
do a
just
sequencing?
we just picked we picked several albums that we would switch out certain songs on, like
Wow,
certain in the
that's
order,
a tough
in the running
topic.
order. Yeah, yeah.
That's a tough topic, but right off the bat, what you just said sounds like a fucking perfect way to do it. You know,
yeah,
Mhm.
it's cool.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so that's my number five. Tony Dio just waxed poetic about it. I don't need to add anything. This is a fantastic album. Does it live up to Back in Black? For me, not quite. Songs aren't quite there like they are for Back in Black, but it's still a fantastic album. I love this one. And I love Brian Johnson's voice on this. He sounds fucking fantastic on this recording. Number four for me is going to be Highway to Hell. Great album. Fucking great album. Another one. No bad moments. Nothing that you want to skip over. Um, I've always loved Walk All Over You on here, is one of my top favorite AC/DC tracks. Touch Too Much is another one that, like, I just want to hear that track again. And I go back to it, repeat it. And Night Prowler. So good. And also kind of the lore and the legacy of Richard Ramirez kind of plays into it too. Makes it a lot more evil and just
Yeah.
a real, you listen to the lyrics and you think about what Richard Ramirez did, and it just makes the song more fucking dark and evil. It's just very
That's
cool.
true.
And I love Girls Got Rhythm. Great song. Great fucking song. Beating Around the Bush, really great guitar shit going on in that one, man. Really just nasty riffing in Beating Around the Bush. Great album. Number three, how about Let There Be Rock? That's going to be my number three. And I absolutely love the opener on this, Go Down, for very obvious reasons. Basically a song about, receiving oral treats from a very willing participant. Fantastic song, great detailed lyrics, just done so well. Doggy Dog's great. The title track is fantastic on this, man. Whenever that comes on Sirius XM radio, the volume goes all the way up to max, and I make sure the whole entire neighborhood hears it. Problem Child, awesome. Overdose is killer, and Whole Lot of Rosie, another top favorite AC/DC track. And I also love the Guns N' Roses cover of it. Very, very fucking good. Very good, boys. Very good.
You ever hear the Omen cover?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna have to check that
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Omen did it. The metal band
Okay,
Omen.
I'm gonna look for that.
It's on the Nightmares EP.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna look that up after we get done here. Omen covering Whole Lot of Rosie. So there you go. There's my 5, 4, and 3. Count Darren. What do you got?
All right. So just a really quick thing to talk about is I was going through these old magazines. I got Keeler was selling a bunch of his old personal collection of magazines for $2 a piece at Rock Fantasy, and I bought a shitload of them. But one of them I bought was this one, the month that Malcolm Young died was actually this week. It was yesterday. Was his 8-year anniversary, 2017. But it's kind of cool that we're doing an episode about um, AC/DC on an anniversary of his death day. And I
Rest in
posted
peace.
this. I posted the like going through this magazine on my Instagram, and I played "Girls Got Rhythm" because I was thinking, what song do I play? And I know it's not a girl playing rhythm, but I just right when I thought of them, I thought of that song because the rhythm is one of the greatest all time rhythm guitar players, and
Oh
we
yeah.
fucking don't totally miss him, fucking total legend. All right, so yeah, this was really hard, like because we've been doing this a lot lately. Is we don't plan ahead of time what we're going to do for the week. Like we should be planning tomorrow what we're doing next week, but we don't know if Keeler's going to be around for it. So we usually find out that day, and then we say, okay, let's come up with something. So we've been doing that quite a bit, and it's cool because we're professionals and we can jump into anything and do it. But then, you want more time to like really like with these. I mean, I only got to listen to the Bon Scott stuff today before doing this. And every time I listened to an album, I was like, okay, was that better than the last album? And like certain bands, you have your favorite albums. But for some reason, AC/DC, like I know some of them that are my favorite albums, but they're a little harder than other bands to just have that one album that you love. Certain bands like that, Black Sabbath is always like that. It could change every time I listen to the albums, and it changed a couple times today. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking go with it. And it's like next tomorrow, you ask me, it could all change. And try not to overthink it too much. But so my number five, I'm gonna go with the one that I kind of first remember hearing is so when we were kids in school, whenever it rained, when they had recess, they had these rooms that the barrier in between would open up, and the whole room would just be two rooms would become one big room, and it had a record player, and people used to bring records in, and usually a lot of times it was like their parents' records. And this one kid, he used to bring in all the cool shit. And when I was a little kid, I've talked about before, my first album was Kiss. So I was into Kiss like real, like second, third grade. I was finding out about Kiss, and my brother had a bunch of 8 tracks of Beatles and Rolling Stones and Queen and stuff like that. But because my mom was from Liverpool, we always had like Beatles in house. But like the very next band after that era that I remember becoming a fan of is AC/DC. And to me, they're probably my favorite hard rock band. Like if I just had to say, what's your favorite hard rock band? There's so many great, great bands, but to me, AC/DC is definitely the band. I have every album, and I love every album, even the later. I like it all. I like everything they've done. So, but yeah, so when they had those doors open, there was 2 albums that got banned from the kids couldn't play it no more because like all the little juvenile delinquent kids like me would latch on to certain songs and we'd start singing it and we'd get all crazy and the teachers would get noticed and be like, what the fuck? One of them was Pink Floyd's The Wall. We didn't know how complex it all was or whatever, but that part where the teacher leave them kids alone. We would just like all of a sudden we'd rise up and we'd be like, they'd be like, what the fuck is this? And then it's on, we just latched onto those lyrics and that became like an anthem to us. But the other one was big balls off of fucking Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I just remember
Of course.
we would start stomping around. I got big balls. She's got big balls. Who we got the biggest balls of them all? But yeah, fucking Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. It'd be my number five. And so many great songs. Squealer. You ever hear the Jenna Torturers version of that? They do a great
Oh yeah, yeah.
Of Squealer, man. It makes it like, wow, yeah, that was a fucking dirty fucking song back then. And I mean the title track, Love at First Feel, Rocker, Problem Child, which also shows up on like Let There Be Rock. But it's
That's right.
fucking just great album. And every single Bon Scott album is a fucking great album. I got the Bonfire poster hanging up. I got the Bonfire box set, which I thought was worth like a lot of money. I remember when this was for sale, it was like $70 or something like that. And I couldn't afford it. And I found it at Rock Fantasy because it opened up and fell apart. So pieces were missing from it. So I found the box with the poster and the booklet, and like I think it was like one CD in there. And I bring it to Q. I'm like, "Yo, this is incomplete." And he's like, "Yeah, you could just have it," because he was like upset that it wasn't all in there. And then like a couple months later, I was looking through the U sections and I found the CDs that were supposed to go in there. So I bought
Yeah.
them for like $5 a piece, and I ended up getting like a complete thing. But it actually doesn't go for that much now. It's like you can get this
No.
on eBay for like $30. And I was like, "Oh man." I actually checked it up right before we went on, thinking it was worth a lot of money, and it's really not.
Yeah,
But
they redid it too when they signed with when AC/DC signed with Sony Records. You remember they went back and reissued the whole catalog in like digipacks, and they've all got that multimedia section where you can watch videos and stuff. They redid the bonfire, and it's actually in a big like a big digibook now. It opens up, and it's not the individual CDs in case, it's
hmm,
they're they're placed in there differently or whatever.
Yeah.
hmm,
Yeah,
that's
that's
weird.
right.
That's cool. It's cool that they put it out again because there must have been a demand instead, and that's probably why it's not worth so much the original because you can get it that way now, which is a
Right.
good
Yeah,
idea.
they're probably all out of print now. Who knows, Yeah.
All right, so yeah, then my next, I mean, damn, it gets just it everything is like so perfect from here on out. I it's like damn, I don't know. But I'm just gonna start going through them. All right, I'll go high voltage. Um, yeah, fucking it's a long way to the top, Twisted Sister, every time they ever opened a show or played a show, they always had that as their opening song that led up. Like once you heard that song come on, you knew Twisted Sister was coming on stage.
That's
Like
right.
that's how
That's what
important that song.
Metallica does now.
Yeah, well, Metallica always did that too. Not that song. You
No,
say no.
now I like probably within the last two tours or whatever, two albums. When you hear "It's a Long Way to the Top" come on,
Oh,
that's when you know Metallica's about to walk out.
oh, wow, that's weird that
Yeah,
they picked the same song.
It's like
yeah,
Lights Out with Maiden.
Yeah,
that's
Maiden
right.
with Lights Out was, and then I can't really think of other bands that had that one song that always came on. It's like they're the two things that you kind of remember. But I didn't know that's kind of weird that Metallica chose that same song
Yeah,
to come out to. Yeah, the Jack, fucking great live wire, TNT. Uh, Yeah, she got balls, which is another fucking balls song for them, kind of fucking funny. And then the song High Voltage is so fucking great.
yeah.
All right, so I gotta pick.
How clever is the lyrics to the Jack, where he's
Yeah,
made it about like he's using card game references. Of course, the live version on "If You Want Blood" is much different.
yeah.
Right.
So fucking Bon Scott was the master of sexual innuendos and stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's so there's something so fun about the Bon Scott era, and it's just awesome. And he can really fucking sing at times. He had like these insane screams and stuff. He's underrated for his vocal style. It seems like a simple, just hard rock kind of style, and I don't know, something about it I love. It's such a great party mood. I love drinking to ACDC. I'm
Oh, yeah.
drinking some whiskey out of a ACDC pint glass right now. And so yeah, so I got one more. All right, shit. Damn, man, these three, fuck.
it's
It's
tough, man.
it's funny because I think for years in my head I had one as my top one. And then as I listened to these five today, it didn't get to the top. And now it's like, all right, so I'm gonna
It's a
go.
long way to the top.
It's this one going slipping down a bit, but for years I always thought this was my favorite album, but it's not now. It's like with Black Sabbath, it changes every time I have to think about this. I'm gonna go Power Ridge. Um, this is just like so raw, rock and roll damnation. How cool is that song? Down Payment Blues, Give Me a Bullet, Riff Raff. Oh, that's a great one. Sin City, man, Gone Shooting, everything kicked in the teeth. This is such a fucking great album. It might be
Oh, yeah.
my number one. Maybe it is my number one. I don't know. I think the next three are tied. I'm gonna say they're all fucking. Actually, this whole top five was tied pretty much. But okay, so that's it. That's three done.
All right. Tony Dio. 2-1. What do you got?
All right. 2-1. Okay, so the second in line here. Let me pull them out here. There is. I'm going to go with "Highway to Hell." Excellent record. I always love that photo on the back of it here. Um, just so many classic songs on this one. This is a record where was a game changer for the band for sure. Where they went in the studio with Mutt Lange, and he pushed them in a lot different direction than what they were used to with their brothers or their brothers company or whatever, Vanda and Young and Vanda, whatever I'm trying to say here. But take a song like "Touch Too Much." There is nothing else in the AC/DC catalog that sounds like that song. And that is definitely the magic of Mutt Lange. He took that and made it into FM gold. He made it into a hit rock song. If you listen to the demo that's on, I don't know if the demo's on Bonfire. There's another box set that's out too called Plug It In. It's got a bunch of demos, and one of them's got the demo for "Touch Too Much," and it sounds like a typical AC/DC song, very Chuck Berry like, but Mutt turned it into a hit for sure. This James mentioned "Walk All Over You." Love that song. It makes me think of the movie "Let There Be Rock" with Phil Rudd in the car in the hot rod, driving fast. Every time I hear that song, I think of that scene in the movie, But yeah, just great songs on this. There's not a bad song on this record. Just like I said, game changer for the band for sure. Here is this is the Australian cover, had the flames on it with the
Oh, wow.
guitar neck. Now, this is actually an unofficial version. When I was talking about there's bootleg versions of the Australian versions, this is a bootleg version because I actually found one of these not too long ago, a couple years ago in a record store. It's $300 if you find the original one. Here is a 7-inch single for "Girls Got Rhythm," and it's got it folds out, so you get a little thing standing here, and you got a picture of the band inside. But
That's cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And
That's sick as hell.
here is the "Touch Too Much" 12-inch single, where the photo. I've never understood how, as well as the art departments are, how they flip negatives and the picture here is backwards. Everybody's left-handed, and I never understand how that happens. Happened with Kiss a lot, but yeah, this has got 2 live tracks on it, "Live Wire" and "Shot Down in Flames." Pretty cool. But like I said, this
It's
might
weird
be
how
my
"Touch Too Much" though. It's just weird how that song isn't really one of the. I mean, they play like 15 songs by AC/DC on my local radio. Like they got them, Van Halen. There's a couple bands that they play multiple. Kiss, they play 2 songs, but for AC/DC, they play so many songs, but they don't play that song. That's not like
Yeah,
really
you
like a
don't hear
hit.
it much anymore. Back in the
Yeah,
day, you heard it a
yeah.
lot. You really did.
When it's a single, it's being pushed and stuff, but it didn't seem to be because AC/DC, I think, just has so many fucking great songs that like it doesn't get the
There's a
play.
there's a thing in radio now, in actually broadcast radio. Most of the companies are owned by like Clear Channel, Live Nation, and stuff, and they have a list of songs to play, and each band has 3 to 5 songs that they make sure stays in rotation at all times. It kind of sucks, but that's the way it is. That's why it's a good thing that there's internet radio and satellite radio and stuff too. But yeah, like I said,
AC/DC,
that might be my favorite
AC/DC,
AC/DC song.
AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, and Van Halen. I would say are the 3 bands that I love that get a ton of songs. And then like Black Sabbath gets 2, sometimes maybe 4 that they'll play a couple of weird every now and again they'll throw in like something else, but they got pretty much Paranoid and Iron Man, and then
War
I
Pigs
mean like
occasionally,
Kiss
yeah.
is yeah, like once in a blue moon
Heaven
get
and
War
Hell,
Pigs.
yeah. Yeah,
That
hear
never
that
gets
voice.
played on the radio. I never
Well,
hear
satellite
any of the
radio it
Dio stuff.
does.
Yeah, on the D, like we have our classic radio station for the Hudson Valley that we've had forever, and they never play like the Dio Sabbath,
No
or anything
way.
else. It's just first couple albums. That's
Yeah, I
it.
always thought it was odd that satellite radio Ozzy's Boneyard is Ozzy's Boneyard, and they play quite a bit of Dio. They play a lot of
They
Dio
do.
solo, and they play Dio Sabbath. So
Yeah.
evidently Sharon didn't go in and stop them from playing all that stuff. But
Well, there was
here's
a there was a whole
th-
thing about there was a whole thing though about Ozzy saying that was like near the end, like that was one of the things it was in one of those documentaries that he talked
yeah,
about how
yeah,
Yeah.
he really respected Dio and everything, and
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing was that when he got replaced by him, he had like a pro like he was like, fuck, they're gonna forget about me now with this guy singing kind of more than him
And there was a
actually
lot
having
of
a problem.
publicity.
Yeah,
There is no bad publicity, so the war was a lot of publicity between them too.
yeah,
Oh
Um,
yeah.
definitely.
here's a bootleg album of AC/DC on from Highway to Hell tour. This is a drawing. Of course, if you look, Bond is grabbing Angus. Or Angus is
Oh,
grabbing Bond by the balls here. And, yeah, this is
yeah,
leading up to
big
one of the
balls.
last performances. Actually, it's not the last performance. It's December 3rd, 79, and they went through December and they had some January dates, a couple of January dates before Bond passed in early 1980. But yeah, this is kind
I
of
wonder if
cool.
there's any later recordings after that though. Is that like the last good recording of
I
Bond
it
before he
probably
passed away?
it probably is. I This is just something I came across as a double album. I found it one day, and so I was like, I'm gonna grab
Awesome.
it.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
so my number one is going to be pretty much my favorite AC/DC record is Power Age or Power Age, however you want to say it. And yeah, just classic record here. Rock and Roll Damnation's just excellent song. Give Me a Bullet to Bite on, love that. Love Down Payment Blues. I remember seeing AC/DC the first date of the Ball Breaker tour, and they were doing Down Payment Blues with
Wow.
Brian. And about me is I think me and the three people that were with me knew the song. Everybody was like getting up, going to the restroom or whatever. It's like they probably thought it was some new songs. It's hilarious how people just don't know the deep cuts. But I love Going Shooting. I love Riff Raff. God, Riff Raff is such a great opening track on If You Want Blood. That that God, it just kicks ass. Sin City, another one of my favorite AC/DC songs. Up to My Neck and You's great. What's Next to the Moon? Cold Heart. This is actually got this is Cold Hearted Man is on this one too. So this is I think I got my covers mixed up here. Yeah. Yeah, this is the version that's got the extra song on it. Cold Hearted Man is on this one. Kicked in the Teeth, great track. Nashville Pussy does a great cover of it. But yeah, so there's 10 tracks on let's see, was it is it 10? Yeah. Yeah, Cold Hearted Man is on this version is what it is. Yeah. This is what I got. What's the cover I got here? Yeah. And it's a different mix too. This is actually a first pressing Germany. So it's actually got a different mix about it here. But
So
yeah,
Germany got the weird song.
I think it was the French and German pressings. And it's a different mix too. There's another version that doesn't have Rock and Roll Damnation on it.
Oh
It's
Oh
wow.
just
wow.
that was something that was added later. Like I think that was the first pressing, and that's a different mix. I've got a CDR copy of that, and it's hard to describe, but when you listen to it, you're going, okay, that's something you hadn't heard before. Maybe the song chops off early or has an extra part instead of the fade out or something like that. But
Yeah.
I'd love to get that version too. That would be cool to have. Um, but I've got a live album here from the Power Age tour. This is a bootleg album. I picked this up at a record show. That cover sold me alone, just the way they did the cover like
Yeah,
that. Just I
Yeah.
was like,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
that's great. But yeah. So just love this record. Another tidbit about this record. Okay, the photo session for Angus. Same photo session here, right? Back cover. All right. If you have you ever noticed that the back cover looks a lot like Highway to Hell? Can't hardly see them here with the glare, but they are. They were taken at the same photo session.
Wow.
Basically, I read something about it where Atlantic took from that photo session and they took this and they doctored up the photo and they put the horns and the tail and stuff and added into it. But it's the
I
same
wonder if
photo
they added the
session.
pentagram on Bond. I wonder if that was added in the pentagram that Bond's wearing.
Possibly, yeah.
Is it? Do you see it in the other picture?
No,
It
because he's
looks
wearing a
like
jacket.
it
He's
was
wearing a
added.
jacket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it was added because it looks like on the back cover of Power Age, Bond's wearing like a scarf.
A scarf.
And I
Yeah, but he
never
could have
seen a
took it.
picture of him. I never seen a different picture with him wearing a pentagram. Like
I've
that's
seen
the
other
only picture.
that photo. That thing that I read had other photos from the photo session, and I didn't really take notice of that yet.
Huh. Ain't that some shit?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Look
awesome.
at Tony Dio schooling us.
Hell yeah.
But that's just a record company being cheap. And they're like, hey, why don't we just use one from the? We don't want to pay for. We don't want to pay. $5,000 for another photo session. Let's just use one out of here and doctor it up.
Yeah, use the old
You know
photo.
you know what I
Yeah.
don't get is what I don't get is how one country gets one mastered album and then another country and like Sodom did that back in the day. They did an album and like when it got released in America, it was like it's actually like a different recording like of the album, but it was the same
Really?
songs and everything. Yeah. Their first album actually was like that, their first full length. And
Huh.
yeah, it's just weird that other countries will get a different master. Like maybe this country likes bass more, or maybe this country likes more treble. It's like,
Yeah,
why would they have
there is.
different like recordings? And it's not that often, but it seems like in the 70s and early 80s, shit like that would happen. Another weird thing that would happen.
Yeah, that's odd. Huh. All right. So my 2 and 1, my number 2 is going to be Power Age. Just perfect hard rock album. Perfect. I love Rock and Roll Damnation. I that's a fantastic opener. Down Payment Blues. Give me a bullet to bite on. So good. Riff Raff. There's another one that Guns N' Roses have covered live recently. It's so good. Sin City. Going Shooting. I remember hearing that first on I think it was on the Beavis and Butthead Do America soundtrack. And I remember hearing that song. I go, whoa, that's a really great AC/DC song. What's that from? Is that a new thing? I'd never heard it before. And eventually wound up finding out it was on Power Age and got Power Age and went, oh boy, what a killer record. And yeah, Up to My Neck and You, Kicked in the Teeth. There's nothing bad on this. It's just not quite my number 1. And it's just a fantastic album. Killer hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 for me is going to be Back in Black. And pretty much because it's the first AC/DC I ever heard. I vividly remember being in a car with my sister and my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law put this tape in and cranked it up, and I must have been like 9 years old. I had never heard AC/DC before, and just sitting in the back seat going, whoa, what is this? This is so catchy. This is so good. And my sister just being like, yeah, this is AC/DC. We've heard this album 29 billion times. It's 1990. Where have you been? I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking 9 years old. Kiss my ass. And I remember borrowing this from them so I could tape it and just playing it to death. This is another one. Not a bad song. Tony Dio already said that. Hell's Bells, what an opener. Shoot to Thrill has always been my favorite track on this. And it's probably my favorite AC/DC song of all time. And I really love Let Me Put My Love Into You. Such a good, grimy, dirty, sexy riffs in that. And I mean, we all know what it's about. Come on. I could go without hearing Back in Black and You Shook Me All Night Long for the rest of my life. It wouldn't
I
hurt
never
my
get sick
feelings.
of Back in Black. Love
No,
it.
no,
Just
yeah,
love it.
I get sick of that one, and I get sick of You Shook Me. But then when I haven't heard him for a long time, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a good song. Have a Drink on Me, whew, fantastic. That's one of those tunes I used to go over to the jukebox in the bar and blast that tune a lot. And yeah, man, Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. I remember the first time hearing that and going, whoa, that's like, you could hear that's like, that influenced a lot of shit that came after it, man. Just great, grimy, bluesy hard rock. Awesome stuff. I love Back in Black. Perfect album. It's diamond because it should be, because it's fucking perfect. That's my number one.
Have you guys heard the 6 Feet Under do the whole Back in Black album?
Yeah.
I heard about 2 minutes
Yeah.
of it, and that was all I needed to hear.
Yeah, yeah. They if you get that in, James at Disc and That, be sure to list to file it in the comedy section because
Yes,
it's
I will.
hilarious.
I will.
Let Me Put My Love Into You and Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution are the funniest tracks on there to me, man.
Uh, what a terrible decision Chris Barnes made there. What a terrible. All that fucking Graveyard Classics was just
Some of
really.
it's cool, man. Some of them work, man. Some certain, but
Eh.
it's got to be a certain man. Their version of Sabotage Holocaust kicks ass.
Yeah,
It works as
yeah.
a death metal song.
All right. I remember hearing them doing War Machine, and I didn't want to throw the CD away. I was like, all right, that was okay. Like that was livable,
Yeah.
but man, that them doing the whole Back in Black album, oof, yikes.
Yeah, I remember reading the press release for that when it came out, and I was like, looking at the calendar to see if it was April 1st, because I thought it was like an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Count Ralphus.
All right.
We
So
gonna
number
we
two.
gonna get Graveyard Classics from you as your number one?
Yeah, it's weird that for a band to do an album, a whole tribute album to a band, that just like I guess it's like unique because I can't think of anybody really saying, okay, instead of covering a song, we're gonna cover a whole fucking album. It's just like pick the best song you could do from that album. Just do that song, or do a whole album of AC/DC songs from different albums, but to just do the whole album, such a bizarre idea. But he smokes lots of weed, so you gotta forgive him. But yeah, so man,
Used to.
my number two is like it was probably would have been my number five if you asked me like a year ago. Like, or if I didn't listen to all the albums today, it probably would have been my number five. But now it shot down to number two, and that's gonna be Highway to Hell. I mean, the cover, I mean, the title track, unbelievable classic that you heard a million times. You don't need to hear it no more, but man, I just love it. It's fucking awesome. Girls Got Rhythm, Walk All Over You, Touch Too Much, Shot Down in Flames. If You Want Blood, I love that. And, Night Prowler. It's just such a great album. Great send off of Bond, his last album he did, it came out after he died, of course. Great books on Bond, Scott. Like I read quite a few AC/DC books. I should have pulled some of them out, but yeah, I'm gonna go right to my number one is I'm kind of shocked. It was the last one I was listening to right before this, and I don't know if that influenced it or not, but it's AC/DC Let There Be Rock. I fucking love this album, man. Go Down, Dog Eat Dog, Let There Be Rock. Such a great song. Bad Boy Boogie's kind of little goofy, but Problem Child shows up again. Overdose, I love, and maybe my favorite of all the Scott songs is Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Whole Lot of Rosie, another classic. One of my favorite, like this would be a good concert, rock fantasy topic to keep in your head for like a future one when we're trying to come up with a topic is favorite like concert moments. So one of my favorite concert moments is seeing it was AC/DC and Anvil at Giant Stadium. 80,000 people. You don't go to stadium shows all the time. Not many bands we like play stadiums. They play arenas or they play clubs and stuff. But so AC/DC tripping my balls off and the lights go out and everybody's wearing these AC/DC horns and they say AC/DC on them and they all light up red. And then when the lights go out, it's it's like you're in a fucking pit of demons everywhere. There's like millions of demons, and they play fucking Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, and they played Hell's Bells, and it was the same feeling. Like fucking lights go down, and all these red horns are everywhere you look, all around you. 80,000 fucking maniacs. There's something powerful about being in a crowd of 80,000. I mean, when you got 80,000 people and girls are standing on their seats, dancing, they're shaking their ass and jumping around. And the energy of AC/DC Live is like when I think of all these shows that are coming up next year with Rush and Iron Maiden and everything, like AC/DC is the one that you'd want to go to because that's the biggest party there is. AC/DC Live is such a fucking good time, such a party. My favorite uh home video of all time is that Let There Be Rock movie, where Angus just explodes on stage for 90 minutes or whatever it is. And I've never seen anybody a single like that's my single favorite performance ever by a guitar player. Is to
They have
watch
to give.
Angus
He was
running.
young. He was young back then. They were still giving
Uh
him oxygen when he went off the side of the
yeah.
stage.
But he was just nonstop. And the guy wasn't on coke or nothing like that, but he looked like he did fucking 10 8 balls before he hit the stage. Like he just fucking went insane.
True.
I've never seen, like, to me, no one's ever topped a live video of a show better than that show. That to me is the best live video ever. And it's weird because they have that live at River Plate where it's like 200,000 people jumping as AC/DC's playing. It's so insane. But there's something special about that them in that club they were playing with Judas Priest that night, and they fucking just were and the best live performance ever caught on tape, probably. But yeah, man, fucking AC/DC did fucking one of my favorite bands, and we definitely should do a couple of honorable mentions now.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, let's do a couple honorables if you got a couple on standby. I got two on standby that I would like to talk about. What do you got, Tony Dio?
I have one on standby. I can think of another one, I'm sure, but um, I'm gonna go with Flick of the Switch, which doesn't show up very well on this camera here, but man, this is a record that for years I thought was okay. I don't it just wasn't a go-to record. And I don't know what it is over the last decade. This is the one that I always reach for. If I'm at work and I only stream music when I'm at work, and I play this one all the time. I go to AC/DC, I just play Flick of the Switch. I don't know why. This was another one that John Gaffney and I discussed on that program where I was like, I would flip a couple of songs. I would open this record with the song Flick of the Switch because I think it's just a more high powered song. The Rising Power is a cool song, but to me, it's just not a strong opener. But it's a kick ass song. This House is on Fire is great. Like I said, Flick of the Switch has been a better opener. Nervous Shakedown's cool. I mean, Deep in the Hole, I like that. I love Guns for Hire. Bedlam in Belgium is cool. I mean, I've got couple of singles here from that. I have
Deep in the Hole and Let's Get It Up. They're the two songs that Viagra has not picked up on yet. They need to pick
that's
up on
true.
this.
Here's this is getting drowned. This is a Guns for Hire back with Landslide. This is a US 45 here for that single. Here's Nervous Shakedown, 12-inch single with it's got some live tracks recorded at Donington. From Rock and Roll Like Noise Pollution, Sin City, and This House is on Fire. And this is a radio interview promo record. It's got the little sheet in here for the questions and stuff. It would be like for a DJ to go in and he could ask a question, like say if Count Ralphus had a show, was radio show, he would read the questions and then the answers on the record from the band. So it's like but it's just something that the label would send out, promote the records.
Sick. That's such a cool thing that you have. I never seen that before.
There's a lot of stuff out like that. Yeah, they're not really expensive. So cool. You can find them.
You just don't see it though. It's like I mean, I've only had my local record store, so if something come in like that, it probably gone the same day because somebody find it. So it's just like the kind of stuff.
Or the owner would put it on eBay.
Well, now they would, but back in the day, they didn't know any better, and they would go, "Oh, who the fuck wants to listen to the interview?" And they would throw it in there, being the cheap bin if you found it back then. But that's so cool.
And another honorable mention for me would definitely be Let There Be Rock, because I love that one, man. And that album cover is just iconic too. I mean, just the shot of Angus on the guitar, playing the guitar in the middle of the stage. That was another one I read something about that album cover and how it was created. I can't remember online once, but yeah, this is such a cool cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, and I'll say after Flick of the Switch, it just seems like Flick of the Switch might have been the last really great AC/DC record for me, because I don't know, it's just none of the ones after it. I do like some of all of them, but none of them compared to those albums that came, before Flick.
Yeah,
basically for me.
It's the last like super classic one, but I love everything they did. And the
Razor,
later ones, but you can't compare like the later ones to anything before Flick Down.
It's different.
Like, it's
Razor's Edge is probably certified like diamond by now, just because Thunderstruck is on it, and that's one of their biggest songs.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. Yeah, there's the point with like Fly on the Wall and Blow Up Your Video. Even though I like Fly on the Wall quite a bit, there's a couple songs on that album.
Some good songs on it.
Yeah. I love it. And it has the weirdest.
That's another
sound.
one.
It sounds nothing like any other AC/DC album. That album, like production wise, anyway. It something about the production on that sounds so different than anything in their catalog, which is kind of cool,
That's the thing is like those couple albums in a row right there, the production got so clean. There was like no raw to it anymore. It's like AC/DC wasn't as hard anymore with those albums.
There's something about Fly on the Wall. I'd have to like think of the right words to describe the production. It just like there's something about it that just sounds so different than any other AC/DC album to me. It's kind of not song structure or anything like that. Everything like that is AC/DC. Like
it's got a different guitar tone on it.
It's definitely the tone of the guitar. Yeah, that's probably the main thing I would think.
It's a little deeper. It's got a little bit of a deeper tone about it. It's not as bright as the ones before it.
I don't know. Yeah. To me, it's like almost too bright. Like to me, like Black and Black is a deeper like tone. I don't know.
I'm just thinking about like I'm thinking about that opening riff to Sink to Pink.
It's just weird how people see production in a different way and hear it in a different words. It's always like an interesting thing to hear people describe what they think of production. To me, I think it's like there's never like a right answer to it or whatever, but people hear it and use different descriptions for it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah. And they're definitely one of those bands that they've never really experimented much. They get a formula, they stick to it. They really
Yeah,
never change, even though the production quality changes. The
Yeah.
music didn't change, the style of writing didn't change. It wasn't, they didn't come
Yeah,
up all of a
the
sudden and
root of
say,
it.
we're going to do a grunge album or we're going to do a rap
Yeah.
metal album or
yeah,
something.
there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
never any of that.
They
Yeah,
always
they
stayed
they
in
never did
their
that.
lane. They always stayed in their lane, and
Yep.
you got to respect them for that. You know.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. There was never like exactly. Yeah, let's do a new metal record. It was just
What's
we're
what's what's this year's trend? We got to get back on top. We need to be back on top.
yeah,
They already sold 80 billion albums. They didn't need to jump on the next trend. They
true.
were their own thing, and that's it. They knew they never had to change that formula.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been making the same soup for fucking decades and it's still delicious.
Yeah. They owe a lot to
Think they're
Chuck
gonna.
Berry, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
You the Aussie version of Dirty Deeds has a Chuck Berry cover on it. They do School Days.
No shit.
Mhm.
I gotta check that out. I bet that's up on YouTube. I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Yeah.
I remember watching an interview with Brian Johnson where he said he met Chuck Berry and asked him for an autograph. And Chuck Berry said, nope, I sign 2 autographs a day, and I've already signed the 2, and that's it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Brian
How
Johnson
weird
goes,
is that?
but man, I'm the singer from AC/DC, and he goes, I know who you are. I know exactly who you are, but I've already done my 2 autographs for the day, and that's it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, kind of fucking shitty.
He had to get back and watch the cameras in his bathrooms.
Yeah, exactly. You have to go back to farting in a jar and fucking open it in some bitch's face.
Lord Chuck.
So my honorables have been talked about, but the first one is High Voltage. Great album. I really love Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? Fantastic song. Little Lover's great. Rock and Roll Singer, I believe, is one of the underrated tracks on this. Live Wire is so good and is a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, and it certainly is. Certainly fucking is. And yeah, like I said, for the past, at least for the past couple album cycles with Metallica, when this comes on, you know that they're getting ready to head to the stage. So they play It's a Long Way to the Top, and then they do the um Ennio Morricone theme from what's the Clint Eastwood movie?
Yeah.
You guys know.
The good, the
Yeah,
bad, the ugly.
that's the
That's it.
intro. Yeah, that's been the
Ecstasy of
intro for so
Gold.
long.
Ecstasy.
Ecstasy of Gold. Yep, yep.
And my next one, Tony Dio just talked about Flick of the Switch. Fantastic. Brian Johnson album. Just so good, man. I love Rising Power. Such a good, catchy tune. House is on Fire is awesome. Landslide is one of my favorites on this. Deep in the Hole is great. I like Brain Shake. That's a good fucking up tempo hard rocker to take the album out. Great one, man. And this is one you really never hear about it. It's just kind of got buried in their catalog. I don't know.
It bombed when it came out. It bombed for them. Like they were
Really,
diamond album, triple platinum, and then that came out, and it was like
yeah.
it
But I
just.
still think it went platinum just on the initial sales.
I don't think it ever
Yeah.
did. I think it was. I don't think it did. It could have, but I don't know. It seems like maybe
I
everything
have
in
to
their
look it up.
catalog. I think everything in their catalog probably seems like it went platinum, but I know that was like a huge drop in sales when that came out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember people talking about it and saying, "Oh, it's not that good" and stuff.
I don't think it was that so much as just whoever else was the more popular bands at the whatever was trending at the time, kind of thing. Where here's ACDC after
it is platinum in the US now, but
yeah,
who knows? Because I don't know. I think everything they did, I mean, even blow up your video with platinum, it's just,
yeah.
of course,
They're
I would
just
think
yeah.
so. Yeah.
it's like they had a big enough fan base where they're going to put an album out and they're going to go platinum anyway, but it might have been a disappointment that it didn't sell
And it
like
took a
Back in
long
Black.
time. It took a long time before it did go platinum.
Hmm.
Because I know at the time it was considered a huge like bomb kind of for them. And then
Last
that's
album
why
with
they
Phil
changed
Rudd.
so much. That's why they changed so much on the next album with fucking Fly on the Wall. All of a sudden it has like a different sound. It was pretty drastic, different sound. But and I don't think that album went platinum, but it probably did. I don't know.
I would
Phil
think Flying
Rudd's
the Wall's
last
probably
record. I
platinum
mean,
by now.
Phil Rudd played on the album, and then he played on the record, and then Simon Wright came in and did the tour.
Yeah, he did the
Right.
videos too. He was in the videos too, I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, too, think about 1983. So you've got Holy Diver, and you've got what I think Pyromania is out in 1983.
Yeah, Peace
Yeah.
of Mind. Peace of Mind is out.
Fly on
Piece
the
of
Wall did go
Mind.
platinum. Fly on the
Yeah.
Wall is platinum. It's
Yeah, I
crazy,
think
man.
I think almost everything. There's probably not an ACDC album that. Well, I guess maybe the later ones because no one goes platinum really no more.
Yeah.
In
Who
the
made
age of
Who Made Who is 5 times platinum.
yeah,
But you got to think that had You Shook Me All Night Long on it, and they re-released it as a new
yeah,
video,
yeah.
and it just blew up.
It was like a new song for a new generation that never
Yeah, it
grew up
was.
with
It was
that
just,
song.
even though it was only 5 years old. Yeah, really, you think about it, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I have a
I'm
hard
just
time calling that even an album for ACDC just because they got like old
it.
songs. But then again, like Problem Child was on 2 different albums, and then you had like the TNT things and stuff like that where they using different songs. So it gets a
I
little
really like.
fuzzy with ACDC.
I really like those little musical interlude pieces that are on Who Made Who. The little instrumental pieces. I really like those. I always thought they were kind of cool. I always love to hear when I'm watching Maximum Overdrive and you hear those little pieces in there. I love it, man. Yeah. Yeah. Great record. I got it over here too. I just picked it up for a friend at the record show last weekend.
I would think that would be maybe my least favorite if I had to like just because it's like I don't see it as like a real like straight up album, but definitely so
It's
like
almost the greatest hits.
yeah, that's kind of why I see it more like
It is.
sort of
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so
Blow up
my
your
turn.
videos platinum. Yeah. Yeah, man. Go for it.
So yeah, if I had to do like a number 6 out of these, I would go with Flick of the Switch. I love this album. This House is on Fire, Rising Power, Landslide. How fucking heavy is that? To me, this is like the most metal album. It's Guns for Hire, Deep in the Hole, Bedlam in Belgium. I fucking love this Brain Shake. It's fucking so heavy, and it's just straight power. And it didn't seem like they were going for like a easy hit kind of song. It was just being like the most powerful version that they could do of ACDC. And when we did our Brian Johnson episode on this channel like years ago, I had this as my favorite album with Brian Johnson singing. But yeah, gotta also talk about how fucking massive and important Back in Black is. Back in Black, fucking like a perfect album, perfect sound, probably the best sounding album of ACDC's whole career to me. Like if I just really had to think of production wise, like I don't know, it just sounds perfect. Everything just hits perfectly and the chords, everything. But ACDC, we always had like a great guitar sound, I think. Um, yeah, just one of the greatest albums. And there's a reason why shit goes triple diamond or whatever the fuck it is. And my next one would be For Those About to Rock. I love this album. You guys already talked about it. Just a great. Those 3 albums were so perfect. Like at the time for me as a kid, like and They were like one of my favorite bands at the time, and they'll always be my favorite hard rock band of all time. But yeah, I kept up with everything, Ball Breaker. I got Power Up picture disc. I got some bootlegs, Bloody Live Reading 76.
Ooh.
And I got
There's a
this
ton
one.
of there's a ton of ACDC bootleg albums. I mean,
Oh
live
yeah,
albums
yeah.
out now.
Oh yeah.
All those old bands, like all the classic bands, they got so many of these have been getting produced with different covers and stuff. You end up buying the same album twice because you don't realize it's because it's got different covers. This one's called ACDC No Stop Signs, recorded in Amsterdam, 1979, FM broadcast. The great cover, fucking Bond pouring a drink. Some cool pictures on the back too. And of course, one of the greatest live albums should we talked about live albums recently, but I always
Oh
loved
yeah.
this album. And
That's
that
what my
album
shirt is
cover,
tonight. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
what a great album cover. I love how it's like a blurry kind of album picture
Yeah.
where it's like someone caught the picture, but they didn't like it wasn't meant to be caught, because it happened spontaneously and such a cool fucking cover. I love it.
Brilliant cover. Yeah, man.
Such a great, all the songs sound so fucking good live. All the classic albums we talk about. Here's another bootleg, Gone Shooting live in Nashville, 1978 FM broadcast. Pretty cool cover. Fucking
Yeah.
Angus on his ass, fucking still jamming away. Another one, live Agora Ballroom, Cleveland, August 1977. And it's funny because it's 1977, but it has Brian Johnson on the cover.
Of course.
And then the back has a picture with Brian on one side of the logo and Bond on the other side. Like they were both doing it together that night. But yeah, flying the wall. I got it signed by Simon Ray.
Nice.
My story of my story of fucking going to see ACDC as a kid. I've told the story before, but we were on our way down, 15-year-old kids. Tony knows the guy. I went down with John Cavaluzzi, and his older sister drove us down to the show. And it was like his turn. Like everybody had you had to find a ride. So my dad drove the last show. You have your dad has to drive this show, or your sister, or whoever could drive us. So we went through our list of people, and it was his turn. It was Yngwie Malmsteen on the Marching Out album, and AC/DC on Flying the Wall. And we got within a half an hour of the Meadowlands, and the fan belt broke. And we
Ah.
fucking stumbled off to the side, and we got to the first gas station we can get to. And they said, we got to get the parts and blah, blah, blah. And we were like, yo, we were 15-year-old kids or whatever. And we were like, let us use our concert shirt money that we all had shirt money that we were going to buy shirts with. We said, let us use that for a cab. We're only half an hour away. And she wouldn't do it because looking back, we were 15-year-old kids and we wanted to jump in a cab from the fucking gas station and go to the fucking show. And
Yeah,
then
she wasn't gonna allow that.
we figured she could get the car fixed in that time and then pick us up when it was over with, but she wouldn't let us do it. So to this day, I have a full ticket stub unripped of Yngwie Malmsteen and AC/DC
Oh man.
because of my music, the way I was into music at the time, like right shortly after that, I find Metallica and everything like that, and then I'm totally into thrash and stuff. So I still paying attention to AC/DC, but I'm not going out of my way like to see them live when they come around and stuff like that. And like the albums that came after Flick of the Switch, after Flying the Wall, they were good and stuff. But I was into like really heavy stuff, so I didn't get to see him again until years later when they did the Ball Buster tour.
Oh,
I thought
oh yeah.
Ball Breaker. I mean, yeah, Ball Breaker. I thought I had the album out before, but
You had it a while ago.
anyway,
Yeah.
I probably already showed it. Here's another one. Best Live Thompson State College 1979. I didn't show that one. And then of course Rock of Rust. I got the 3D or the kind of weird 3D thing.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
lenticular
The
cover.
lenticular
yeah,
cover for it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
cool.
I got the,
I always like
but
Ball
yeah,
Breaker, man. I like that song "Cover You in Oil."
Yeah.
That's a good tune.
I love that album. I love that album, and that from then on, I loved everything they did. I really did. I like they weren't like as classic as anything that I was mentioned earlier, but it was like something about it. It was like ACDC's back. They're fucking doing their same thing. Yeah, we've heard this formula so many times, so like the songs ain't as classic or none, but it's just it was good, solid hard rock, and they were doing what they do. And if they put out another album tomorrow, I'm running out and getting it. It's like
Oh
I
yeah,
love it. It's a shame that Malcolm's not there no more and stuff. But I still thought Power Up was kick ass. Oh yeah, I pulled
yeah,
that out. I got the one where it was like you I don't is it yeah lights up. Is it still light up
Yeah, it
or
lights up and plays the
it,
song. I got one.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to charge it.
it
Yeah,
just lit up earlier when I pressed the button. Now it's not fucking lighting up. And it used to
Yes,
play so
it's a
yeah,
shame
I
that
gotta charge it.
it's a shame that Phil and Cliff aren't still part of the band too. They're
Yeah.
alive and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Cliff, he called it a day. He thought it was, it's funny. Okay, so that's another story. He's like, so years ago, fucking before the Power Up album, ACDC's coming around, and we get tickets for Madison Square Garden. And for me and my wife, it's expensive as hell. It was like probably at the time, I thought it was the most expensive I ever paid for tickets. My wife loves ACDC. I love ACDC. So we're like, you know what? We're gonna they're never gonna tour again after this. I was like, this is it. This is before Brian Johnson had a hearing problem or anything. So I was like, they just can't at this point. I think they can't do it anymore. I think after this, I said, this is it. So let's just fucking buy the ticket. And we got really good tickets and stuff. And it was ridiculous at the time. I had money, I guess, for some reason, but we paid quite a bit of money for the tickets. And then Brian announces like a month before the show's about to happen, Brian announces that he's going deaf and he's having a problem. So they say, the show is not canceled, but it's postponed. So we're sitting there with these fucking really expensive tickets. And then at one point they announced that James's boy fucking is gonna sing instead, Axel.
James his boy.
So I was like,
That is my
yo,
boy, man.
I would go to this for $50, not for $300 or whatever we were paying the ticket. It was like ridiculous. Like I would have they should have like dropped the price or something. And you then it was like when they announced that we just got our money back and we didn't go. And I kind of regret it. Like I don't it would have been good to have gotten my money back and then bought like upper level seats and went for like $50 or whatever, not 50 probably. I probably could have got it for less than 100, but it would have been cool, but not at that price that I was paying to see ACDC one last time. And then that happened, and then they fucking did another album, and they did a whole tour. Well, they did a whole tour with Axel, but then they did a whole nother album, and now they're finally touring again. And it's like, man, I really want to go. Like they're playing Giant Stadium, and it's like I don't have many bands left that can play stadiums. So it could be my final stadium show ever if I go, because
Yeah.
I can't think of any other band I like that's going to ever play a stadium. I'm not, I don't know. That could be my final stadium show. So hopefully I end up going, getting tickets.
Um, you know, I saw that tour actually. Well, my first ACDC show was the Blow Up Your Video tour. That was the first time I ever saw ACDC live. And Malcolm didn't tour with them on that tour. He was in rehab, Stevie Young, who's currently in the band. And I think Cinderella opened the show. They were like on a long cold winter period. So that was my first show for ACDC. And then I saw them twice on Ball Breaker. the first day of the tour, and then that was in a Coliseum. And then I saw them later on. They came back to the amphitheater and played in Raleigh. And then I saw the Stiff Upper Lip tour in an arena. And
Yep, I've seen that one.
Richard was driving a truck on that tour actually. And
It's awesome.
um, the last time was with Axel, and that was not planned. That was totally spontaneous. Basically, well, about a week before, my friend hit me up and he said, "Hey, my wife don't want to go to the show. I don't know if it was she didn't like Axl Rose or what, but he said, do you want to go to the show with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go." So we planned to go, and a couple of days before the show, I have a friend who is the guitar tech on the tour. He was Stevie Young's guitar tech. He's Brad Whitford's tech usually, but he was out with AC/DC. And his wife hit me up and asked, was I going to the show? And I said, yes. She says, hey, do you want to do the gear tour where you get to go look at the gear before the show? You don't meet the band or nothing. You just get to go look at the gear. So, yeah, that'd be great. So me and my buddy Dave went, and we got there, and she met us at the back, told us to go around back gate, and she gave us passes to get in. They gave us working passes. So we go in, we look at the gear, we get to hold Angus's guitar, got to hold Malcolm's, Gretsch with the missing
Whoa.
pickups in it and stuff. That's the one
Wow.
Stevie was using.
That's
Um,
fucking sick. That is so sick.
and
Do you get a picture
that
with
was
like
so
the
cool.
Hell's Bell? Do you get a picture with like the Hell's Bell? The big
No, we
bell?
didn't. We
No?
just were kind of like, I took a picture of the guitar, and I don't know, I was kind of in the moment, and I
Just
just
holding
tripping.
the
But
guitar is pretty sick,
yeah,
man. That's sick.
well, we got to stand there and hold it, look at it for a second or whatever. It's cool. He gave us some guitar pick stuff. Greg's a great guy. He's a real cool guy. He's tech for the tour. And so we hadn't eaten anything. We were starving. And so we go out to the concession stand and get us something. And I said, Dave, where's the seats? And he goes, I don't know. And he pulls the tickets out and he shows me, and I'm looking, and it's like freaking the top. We may have been on the top row. I don't know. We walked for a little bit, and we sat down and we watched the opening act. I think it was Tyler Brandt and the Shakedown were the opening band. And I said, Dave, we're not sitting here for AC/DC. He goes, why's that? I said, because we got working passes, man. We can stand on the floor. So we went down, and I said, just act like you're supposed to be there. And we just stood on the floor and we watched the show, man, from like,
Oh wow.
down where the
That's
seats
awesome.
were. And it was great because I'm gonna tell you, Axel put his ego aside. And I wouldn't doubt if Axel wasn't fanboying out a little bit each night, probably thinking, pinching himself, I'm in AC/DC. I'm in fucking
Oh hell yeah.
AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
And he did a great job. I heard that they talked to him before the tour started and said, before they started the dates with him and said, hey, you can't be pulling that rock star bullshit, showing up late. We go on at,
Yes,
9 o'clock, and that's when we go on.
yeah.
And he did great, and they did a lot of Bon Scott stuff because they would revamp the set for him. We had a guy on Rock Fantasy a couple years ago. You remember Alvy? He was the guy that auditioned for AC/DC. Remember that,
Oh
Ralph?
yeah. Yeah,
He
yeah.
he uh, he was before Axel got the gig. He's a kid, and he's in a North Carolina AC/DC tribute band, or was in a tribute band from North Carolina. And he went down and auditioned. He got to audition for AC/DC, and he said he got to jam with the roadies first, and then they deemed him good enough to meet the band and jam with the band, and he had dinner with them and everything. And of course, he didn't get the.
Jim Brewer almost got it, I heard.
That's crazy. But yeah, I heard it. Well, I heard it was between Lee. Well, we call Alvy Lee, but Alvy, another guy from a tribute band, Steven Tyler, and Axl Rose. And Axl's who they went with. I told him once. I told Alvy once. I was like, man, don't get bummed out about it, man. You did something nobody. You've got something to tell your grandkids because you did something that nobody ever gets a chance. You got to jam with AC/DC. That's fucking killer,
What's a great story is in Brian Johnson's book. He talks about when he gets the chance to join ACDC, he has to drive like I forget how many hours he had to drive, and he's working like a full-time job, doing like his repairing windows for cars or something like that. And so he gets the call and he's like, yeah, he thinks it's like a waste of time, but he's like he goes out of his way to make it happen. So he goes, well, he figures if anything, I'm gonna hang out with the guys from ACDC for the day. And I could say that to my grandchildren that I tried to be an
Yeah.
ACDC. So he has this whole big like chapter in his book about just trying out, thinking that was cool enough, and he couldn't believe that he got it. But it was a pretty awesome story, you know.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's he didn't get the gig, or he was at the show, the same show I was at that night. They actually gave him tickets and he got to go back and take photos of the band and stuff, because they didn't, when he did his audition, he didn't get to take photos or anything, when it was all hush hush,
Yeah,
and
very secret.
totally professional and stuff. But funny thing about that story is the next tribute band that he ended up joining was a Guns N' Roses. So
Ha!
he ended up in a Guns N' Roses tribute. But
I would have thought you would have said a Crocus tribute.
no, he wouldn't. Can't make no money in a Crocus tribute.
Hell,
But yeah,
hell no.
but that's crazy. Here's a couple other bootlegs I was going to show you. This is I thought about this. This is called Back to School. This is at the 4 o'clock club in Miami, Florida, September 1977. Pretty
Damn.
cool. They're in the club, and this
That's
was
let there be rock stuff, you know.
this is Flick of the Switch rehearsals. It has the
Like,
rehearsals on here and a couple of live tracks, but they actually, one of the tracks is they call Miller Time. They make a song up that's called Miller Time. But yeah,
I wonder if that's the recording from. Remember when they did their first video from that album? What did they do? What was the first video? But anyway, they look like they're in a rehearsal room and
yeah,
they're
well,
playing, they're jamming away, and it looks like they're definitely playing. So I wonder if that's what was recorded.
yeah, that I have that whole rehearsal footage on
Oh
video.
wow!
The
Huh.
whole thing was released on, it's a bootleg, it's been out for years. But yeah, that was with Simon Wright.
Is that
Yeah, the
on
rehearsal.
YouTube? Is that on YouTube?
It may be. It
It's
may be. I
gotta
don't
be,
know.
right? You
Just
would
just
think it
about
would be.
everything's on YouTube now. So, you
Yeah,
know, I've
think.
seen some rehearsal footage, James rehearsing for his Guns N' Roses tribute band. He was
Hmm.
in front.
You got any bootlegs of fucking Axel singing for ACDC?
No, I don't.
I
There's
would love to
footage on
have one of
YouTube.
those.
There is footage on YouTube of that.
Oh, there's got to be a
Oh
ton of.
yeah,
There's
I've
got to be a
seen it.
ton of it, right?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Like I said, that was one of those shows I went in with low expectations as far as the show goes, and walked out going, God, that was kick ass.
Yeah,
That's
Because I mean, like I
like,
said, he did a great job.
yeah,
yeah.
the few things that I've seen, I was like, this would have been kind of cool. Like, because it was a lot of it was heavy Bon Scott, and
Oh yeah.
I was like, you know what, would have been a unique thing. It just wasn't worth it for the price that we were paying, because I was thinking it was the last ACDC show I'd ever
Yeah,
seen.
it makes sense. Yeah, totally.
So, but when I look back on it, it's like, man, I wish I would have just refunded my tickets and then got cheap tickets up in the balcony, and then I would have probably had a great fucking time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would have. You would have.
Yeah. I wish I would have been able to go to that. And I remember that happening. And then right at the same time that happened is when Slash and Duff came back to Guns N' Roses. So it was like Axel had this whole like reawakening kind of like coming back thing. And it was just so cool to see that happen because I'm a huge fucking GNR fan. So it was cool to see him kind of come back from the dead a little bit and get a lot of
Understand
respect
that.
from the
Yeah.
guys in ACDC who he loves and, grew up
Yeah,
listening.
I kind of remember the timeline being like that. Like, all of a sudden, Guns N' Roses is back, but then he's
Yep.
going to take time to do this AC/DC thing, and there ain't nobody in Guns N' Roses that's going to say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." Like, they seem to all
Of
be like
course.
behind it. Like, yeah, fucking
And
hey, do
and
that.
ACDC's, yeah, ACDC's always been really quiet and secretive about what they have going on in their camps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
super secretive.
I
Man.
mean, we didn't know how bad Malcolm was for the longest time. Of course, Malcolm passes away, and of course, there was footage there was photos of the funeral and stuff, and you saw Brian was there and stuff. And next thing you know, you start hearing these rumors that they're working on a new record. And there was that footage. Somebody had got some pictures of them standing on a rooftop or something. At the record studio taking a smoke break, and you go, "Okay, Brian's back." You know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember being a little disappointed with that because I wanted the next AC/DC record to have Axl Rose on it. I really did.
And you're the only person.
Nah. Yeah, I
I
didn't go that
guarantee I
far.
wasn't the only one, but probably the only one you know.
Yeah.
I
You
definitely
know what?
And
wanted
that's not a shot at Axel. I mean, like I said, he did a great
Nah,
job
yeah,
live, but
that would have
Brian,
been
that's
weird.
Brian belongs in that spot. So
Yeah,
if
no
you
If
doubt.
there
can't have
had to be
Bond, you got to
somebody to
have Brian.
replace, like, yeah, if you're gonna replace Brian Johnson, you need a big name like that. So, I mean, if it had to get to that point, but I would have rather them just been done at that point because they're
And
just gonna make the same
that's
album
another
again. So it's like just end it right there, you know.
that's a good point too, Ralph. I brought that up to Albie. I was like, that if they had hired a no-name, unknown person to finish that tour, people would have been trying to get refunds left and right. But you put
Oh,
a
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
high-profile name in there like
yeah,
Axl Rose or Steven Tyler. I mean, you were like, I'm getting a refund. I don't want to see this. But a lot, good 80% of the people are like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll go see that. This might be a once in a lifetime thing to
sure.
see.
It saved that tour, which was
Yeah.
already booked and already probably had gotten paid for all those fucking things. Instead of losing all that money, they were able to recoup it and keep it going. And you talk about how secretive AC/DC was, and they definitely were one of those bands. They just like they very little interviews with Angus and stuff like that. They would promote a new album like for 1 week and then they would disappear and they wouldn't do no interviews. But there's a great book. I read many AC/DC books. I read Brian Johnson's book. I would love to read like an Angus autobiography because you just don't get into that guy's head, which would be fucking amazing to read his autobiography. But there's a book, I forget the name of it. I should know the name of it by heart because it was by the author Mick Wall, who's done like a lot of great books. But man, his AC/DC book was the fucking best because it wasn't like, put out by the AC/DC guys who were going to just say what they want you to know. They told about how the fucking first singer before Bon Scott was treated and how fucking Malcolm was like a little fucking maniac at times. He would like pull knives on people. He would really had like a short man's complex. It seemed like there's things in that book that I was like, whoa, you never heard any of this shit before. So if you're a fucking huge AC/DC fan, I mean, it's great. The Bon Scott book is great and everything, but that Mick Wall book, man, they tell you stuff that you never fucking heard before, and it's the
I've
best
heard
book
about that.
by
Yeah.
far.
The,
Yeah, that's the best
the
book you can get on
Maximum Rock
AC/DC.
and Roll is a good one too. Yeah, the
Is
Maximum
that
Rock and Roll was a good.
yeah? I can't remember the name of it. So it's
Is
not that
the
tough.
Maximum Rock and Roll? God, I can't remember who did that one. Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be is the one by Mick Wall.
That's the best AC/DC book
Yeah,
there is. I got like at least like 6 or 7 AC/DC books. That's the one. You'll really that's like you crack that secret world of AC/DC because you're getting interviews from roadies and ex-members and people that were there and stuff, not just like what they want you to know and put out. It's kind of like Maiden was a lot like that too. They were pretty secretive about their shit,
Yeah.
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 We got a band from North Carolina called Nantucket that went out on. They did some dates on the Back in Black tour, and they interviewed the guitarist Tommy Red. They interviewed him for one of those books. I think it might have been Maximum Rock and Roll. I've read both of them. I read the one you're talking about, Mick Wall, too. It was in one of the ones they interviewed him about because there's a famous picture of the two bands together backstage, and Tommy's sitting on a couch and they're pouring whiskey on him, and the bands are all standing around and stuff. And then the Nantucket recorded "Long Way to the Top" if you want to rock and roll on their next record. So it was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
James, did you have any honorable mentions?
I did mine.
Oh, okay.
Oh
That's
yeah, I
right.
was just gonna
Yeah.
say.
We've talked so long, I forgot.
We talked
Yeah,
so
I did
long
that.
we
I did that last week with James. Like at one point, I thought everybody had done. So now I thought we were in the after thing where we just start talking about every. And I went on and on
Yeah.
and on. And then James was like, "Okay, so my next one," and I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't realize he wasn't done. You
Yeah.
know, I said that to
Yeah.
Ovi later, but I didn't get to say it to you. But I forgot. I didn't realize
Wow.
that you weren't done yet. But so I started
It's
going
all
into like
good.
it's the whole
That,
afterwards thing. You know.
yeah, man.
It
This
happens.
this has
We
been
start
this has been
talking. It's
fun,
like,
man. I'm glad we did
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, this was cool.
absolutely.
We got to do a proper ACDC ranking on the ranking files in a couple months. Do a
I
good
agree.
ranking of them all.
I agree.
Yeah,
The
I gotta make sure I can get in on that Dio ranking you got coming up
yeah,
soon.
December 5, make sure you could do the deal ranking
Oh
ones.
yeah, I got to start listening again.
I don't even have to listen to them. I can just tell you.
That's how I thought about it for ACDC. That should have been the way it was for me. But then once I start listening, I was like, fuck, everything's changing. And the same thing last time we did a Black Sabbath thing like this. It's like, damn, they just change almost every time I listen to them. It's just how you're feeling at the time with these legendary bands that you love. You know, it could change, and then you gotta say, don't overthink it. Just fucking go what you're feeling with today. That's it. You know.
True. Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys. Thanks for joining tonight. And thank you at home for watching the Rock Fantasy Files. How about you give us your ranking of your top 5 ACDC albums of all time? Go down in the comments there, right down there below me, and and tell me what your top 5 ACDC albums are, because I love reading the comments. I actually really do. I like
Look,
reading
he's
the.
got a lightning bolt on his finger.
Oh, look at that! He's got the fucking ACDC lightning bolt on his
Yeah,
middle.
my middle finger, but it looks like it's blurring up now. But yeah, that's it. That's the middle of the ACDC logo on my
Good
middle
job, Count Theron. All
finger.
right, so we'll see you guys next week. We're gonna figure out what next week's topic's gonna be, because Steven's not gonna be able to join. So we're gonna have something in store for you guys next week. And so keep it tuned right here. Like and subscribe to the Rock Fantasy Files, please, and leave comments. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you to Tony Dio and Count Ralphus for joining me tonight. This was really fun. See you guys soon. Have a good night.
New video coming for the Metal Emporium this week, part 2 to my Ozzy collection.
There you go. Watch the Metal Emporium on YouTube. Later, you jerks.